she really liked it, but it just wasn't the right fit.
Yeah.
It was a self-portrait. Hey, maybe I'm not an icon just yet.
A girl can dream.
Um,
I feel you. I feel you. I'll be painting my self-portrait. Hi, it's Camille. I'm your host of I Want Your Job. It's a podcast about creative careers. I've got a very exciting episode today, which isn't like the usual because I have already interviewed Camille Olsen-Ormandy, so you can go check that out wherever you get your podcasts. But today it's really exciting because Camille, I'm so proud of her. We also have the same name, so if you start thinking I'm referring to myself in third person, I am not. But Camille has gotten into the Archibald Prize, which is this massive portrait show in Australia. It's huge. It's all the art world talks about, really.
yeah, I think it's the most publicized art prize.
So it's so exciting that you've gotten into it. And for this episode, I thought it would be really cool to be able to dive deep into how to get into the Archibald. I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, and kind of the process around it. And also the thoughts behind your own piece, because I'd love to know more about it.
Yeah.
So hello. I think because we've already done the original episode, which you should all go watch, give me like a quick rundown of who you are in your practice before we dive in.
Okay, so as you know, I'm also named Camille.
Camille squared.
I am an artist and I paint portraits, I would have guessed, on this topic. But also a lot of representational, naturalistic kind of paintings and landscape, objects. But yeah, I really just started in portraiture. That's where my fascination and kind of spark and passion to make it into a career.
Yeah. I mean, it's just been, I remember following you for the first time on Instagram and just seeing your vibrant portraits and just being like, this is so captivating. Like,
and you know that you were the first person to ever do a blog post on me.
I know. It's just like, I was like, what, 13, 14?
Yeah.
It's insane. And I remember my mum was like, oh, this is the girl I named you after. Like, this is her Instagram. Look how cool she's turned out.
It's just so crazy how the world or the universe just puts two Camilles together.
We're meant to be. We're just meant to be. What was it like getting that call saying that you got into the Archibald?
So I was at my desk at work and I was scrolling through my emails and all of a sudden I see confidential, capital letters. I'm like, uh-oh, I've been scammed before.
Tax fraud.
I'm just like, okay, let's see what this is about. Tap it in. It says, congratulations, you're an Archibald finalist.
Oh my God.
And I just, all of a sudden, my heart started racing really fast. I looked up at like the people, my colleagues around me, and I'm like, well, I can't keep this in. Confidential. I'm like, hey guys. I'm like, it's happening. And they're like, are you sure? Because I actually had been scammed a couple of months prior to this whole artist residency in London.
Oh my God.
Which was crazy.
Yeah.
Luckily, I replied to this email and it bounced back. But then there was this whole thread of artists that I discovered that actually had these Zoom calls and videos for this scam artist residency.
God, why would you waste your time for that much? Like, Zoom calls are so like exhausting.
So, I was being cautious, but I was like, wow.
Yeah, so exciting. And then, like, what happened?
So they tell you like a month prior.
Yeah.
So they're like, do not post on social media. Do not tell anyone, basically. But I'm like, I gotta tell everyone to do. So it was just pretty much a month of just bliss and excitement, and there's a whole lot to coordinate with getting your work photographed and putting in your artist statement, as well as there's a whole bunch of volunteers that then reach out to you and you have a phone call with them and you have a conversation of what extra they can tell when they do a tour around and everything. So yeah, there's all these different steps that lead up to then it finally being announced.
Yeah. So I want to go into more the depth around like what happens behind the scenes in the show, but I'd love you to talk about Gemma, who is the person you painted.
Yes. So Gemma Chua-Tran is an actress and she's had her breakout role on Heartbreak High. She's actually someone that had been in my orbit for quite some time. So I met her through some mutual friends and then she actually studied the National Art School for a moment. And then she got the role for Heartbreak High. And then I started seeing her at different art openings and so she became a familiar face to me. And for me personally, to ask someone, would you sit for me for the Archibald is such a daunting thing because it's like 1 in a million of getting in a way. Literally. So in the past I'd painted my mum, then I had painted myself.
Yeah. So you've tried out for the Archibald a few times.
So this was my 3rd time. And so with Gemma, I just felt like things really aligned where I loved her style. I loved that she was an actress and she also had a public kind of facing social media presence. And I just felt like she was just one of those cool girls that I just wanted to get to know.
Yeah.
And then also just kind of thought that she would fit within my world of portraiture.
What was the process like of painting her?
She was really hard to paint.
Yeah.
For the Archibald, you need to have a in-person visit. So it's one of the requirements. Yeah. So I got her into my studio one day and it was just a long afternoon and I don't like having someone having to sit really still. So I always tell my subject, just relax, sit down, and then I just interview them. Yeah. Because I just want to get to know them and I feel like also it kind of feeds into then the vibe and the energy of the painting.
It totally does. Like a painting is a reflection of like both you and that person. Like I think it's a really difficult harmony to kind of strike in a way because you're representing them but you're also representing you. Yeah.
And I've always found in the past that like you know your face so well. So I sometimes find that my face merges into the faces of other people.
I notice that when I'm painting as well.
Yeah, which is really interesting. So you got to try and reel that back in.
Yeah, it's not about me.
Not about me. And I take Polaroid photos and I take iPhone photos, lots of different angles. Yeah. And then I'm also in the process of interviewing and talking to them. I'm doing sketches and multiple drawings just to kind of familiarize myself with her face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Incredible. What was her reaction?
She loved it.
Good.
Yeah.
It'd be real awkward if she didn't.
Yeah, oh my God. Like, to not only then be in the Archibald, well, I made sure I sent her the photo of it basically finished and said, tell me what you think. No pressure. If you don't like it, I don't need to enter. Because even though there's like a whole thing where you can sign it and there's been controversies in the past where people haven't liked their painting, but they've signed the waiver of the Archibald and they go, well, you've signed this, you've given your consent to this image, and they put it in and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. For me personally, even if someone has signed it, I still want them to be happy.
Yes.
With the work. And so, yeah, she was overjoyed and I'm like, wait, really?
What?
I'm like, whoa, okay. Because it's like, I've done lots of commissions in the past where people are like, maybe change this, change that, not sure about that. You know, you kind of lead into then it being like them being satisfied. Yeah. But this, she was just like, great.
So nice.
I was like, oh.
What do you think, firstly, makes a good sitter like Gemma, and what makes a good portrait?
Well, I think a good sitter has to just be someone that resonates with the artist.
Right.
So whether it be you love their facial structure or you love their style, you love who they are as a person or what they do for the world. So I feel like there's lots of different elements that someone may find makes that subject a compelling sitter. And then when it comes to painting a portrait, I guess I'm looking for color, I'm looking for shapes. I love fashion, so I love a collar, I love glasses, I love accessories, things that can kind of give cues to their personality and who they are.
You mentioned that you got rejected twice before.
Yeah.
What do you think sets apart an artist, now that you can kind of reflect on it, from getting rejected from the Archibald to getting in?
I think there's a lot more that goes into it about who you paint and also timing, because my parents and I went to the Archibald opening night. Yeah. And my dad came over to me and said, oh, there was a lady who was from the committee that came up to me and was talking about your work. And so she mentioned that she saw my painting last year, and she really liked it, but it just wasn't the right fit.
Yeah.
It was a self-portrait. Hey, maybe I'm not an icon just yet.
A girl can dream.
You know?
I feel you. I've been painting my self-portrait.
And literally it was like a week before like the entries are closing. I'm like, I gotta put something in. I'm too scared to ask people. I'm just doing me. And then I remember that one artist who did win the Archibald female portrait self-portrait painter. She had really small works. They're really beautiful.
I don't know.
I can't remember her name, but I was like, I could be like her.
Yeah. Let me channel.
So yeah, it wasn't the right fit. But then mentioned that one.
Sorry. That just tickled me a bit. I just relate so much to wanting to paint yourself. It's an awful thing to relate to. Anyway, carry on, sorry.
But then when I came in this year, I also did last year a resin mirror frame.
Yes.
So the lady who said to my dad that on the committee, she spotted the frame again, was like, oh, I was interested in this person's work last year, wasn't the right fit. This year, bada bing, bada boom.
A lot of your work is with frames. You make those resin frames, and it's quite a new thing for you. Why do you like kind of concealing the portrait within a border?
I think for the resin handheld mirror frames that I do in particular, it's a real importance to the concept of femininity and vanity.
Cue self-portrait.
Which is why I thought it was perfect.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's a fucking great concept. I can't believe they didn't float.
Next time. There'll be more to come. But the whole stimulus from the mirror frames was I was reading the book Ways of Seeing by John Berger.
This is insane. It's the last 3 people I've interviewed.
Yeah.
Gladys Fly, Phoebe Wolf, and you. And yeah, I think it was just those 3. Have all mentioned Ways of Seeing. Everyone is reading John Berger right now.
It is
I need to get on
something
it.
that is just kind of the foundation of understanding art fundamentals and perspective, how we perceive and how we take in
So interesting.
And so I was given a text at uni, and it was in the chapter The Nude versus the Naked, and there was this excerpt which said, you put a mirror in her hand and you called the painting vanity, thus morally condemning her for her nakedness, which you have depicted for your own pleasure. And I read that and I was like, wait a minute. Wait a damn minute. This whole symbolism of the mirror, I'm really liking this.
I'm liking this vibe.
I really like this vibe. And so I was like, well, why is there this context of, you know, inherently portraiture in itself is something that is vain, it's ego-driven.
Yeah.
And then you have this whole other kind of male gaze coming into it as like this condemning of vanity. And I'm like, wait, women can be perceived as beautiful, know that they're beautiful. Doesn't have to be a negative thing.
No.
And so I really just want to have this kind of forefront perspective of like redefining vanity and that, you know what, to quote, what was that guy from Gucci?
The one with long hair?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you know his name?
I'll search Gucci long hair man.
Yes, Gucci long hair man.
He's like no longer the head. Alessandro Mitchell.
So Alessandro in a podcast that I was listening to talked about how vanity is almost the leading drive and passion for fashion and creating beauty. And I was like, yes, this is what I'm on about. Like there's this perspective of vanity that can be so like negative.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, it is such a driving force within surrounding yourself in beauty, creating beautiful things.
That's so delicious. I love all these thoughts. I could go on and on and on, but we're keeping this episode short because...
sorry.
No. You keep talking. I don't want to be the one that's going, blip, blip, blip. Vanity, vanity, vanity. Do you think when you're looking at the Archibald that it's more about the institutional approval than the actual artist's work? Like an artist applying to be able to tick a box?
I think there is a lot of institutional validation that comes with it. I think with me, sharing on social media and being a finalist, there's been so many people that have been like buying my work all of a sudden.
Really?
I've been getting more commissions recently.
Wow.
People are coming up to me and congratulating me. And so it's just kind of this real spotlight that it puts on you, and it kind of is another confirmation as well as validation that I'm a serious artist.
Yeah.
In a way, people will then kind of take notice of that as well. So.
Well, it's something we've talked about so much. And like, I think it's why I found your choice to paint Gemma quite interesting, because you mentioned like her social presence. And we've talked about how as artists, like if you have this social presence, you're not necessarily taken as seriously as someone that isn't kind of sharing their world. I don't know where I'm going with that. I wanted you to piggyback.
I was going, yeah.
No, I'm like, help me with this one. I'm giving you ideas.
Social media is a crazy place.
It's a wild world out there.
Wow.
It's wild. It's wild. So many faces. Moving on. Is there something that you've seen when looking at all the portraits and all the artists? Is there like a common thread that you've seen? Maybe not within like the curatorial lens, because I'm sure the curators have pulled a common thread, but is there something that you've gone,
Yeah, something I've always noticed about the Archibald is that large scale is so favorable. So usually most of the works on show are very large, and I paint very small. So it's actually a smaller picking of people that they choose for those smaller works. Right. I've also noticed when it comes to their subjects, celebrity is so important because, you know, they also want the general public to be interested. Someone that isn't within the art world that knows this painting of a specific kind of niche artist or creator, they won't pick up on that, but they hear Cody Simpson.
Yeah, and they're like, ow,
ow. Who was in the
is he?
He's one of the subjects, and I was like going around the art openings like, where are you at? Where's Cody Simpson? He didn't turn up.
Did he not?
No.
Was Gemma there?
No, she was filming a movie up on the Gold Coast with Noah Centineo and Sydney Sweeney, nonetheless.
Oh my God.
Crazy. She's going to blow up.
Yeah. You're going to blow up as well. You're both going to hold hands and run into the sunset and blow up together. Did the Archibald in any way change the way you see your own work? You mentioned that people are now purchasing it and coming up to you. So obviously there's been a shift in how you've been perceived. But have you felt it?
Yeah, I feel confident. And I've always felt confident in what I do, but I think when there is that external force that comes in and goes, yeah. I'm like, okay, yeah, I really do feel like what I'm doing is exciting and fresh. And yeah, I think that's the main thing. Yeah.
And are there any tips that you can give anyone that's wanting to enter the Archibald next year? Can you give us like 5 key things that like you need to do?
Choose a subject that is a public figure of some kind. I think really helps. Paint big. Yep, large scale is good.
Yeah.
Man, I feel like it's so individualistic.
Yeah.
Be you. Do you.
Is there like a particular thing that like when you were writing your cover letter, or like what did you have to do to get in? Was it like, here's a picture of the art that I'm doing?
You just go to the packing room around the back of the art gallery and just hand in your work with a title and dimensions and what it's made out of, and there's no writing, nothing about it, so they only get that after you've been selected.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so it really is just what you see is what you get. So there's no concept that they're going to pick from it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. How do you think that changes the way they choose then?
Better be a pretty picture.
Okay, we should wrap it up there before I say anything else that is controversial.
Yeah.
I'm sure I've chopped out a lot of this because Camille and I have just been Yeah. But I hope that you got a little bit of something out of Camille's knowledge around the Archibald. It's all in there, baby. Bye.
Bye.
That was so silly.